As firefighters, you know that every year there are thousands of fires, accidents and collisions. Many involve factories and tankers that store, use or transport substances which have the potential to pollute our environment. There are obvious threats such as chemicals, oils, contaminated firefighting runoff and foams. But even things we don't consider to be dangerous, like detergents or things that are good for us like milk and orange juice, can damage the environment. The amount spilt doesn't have to be big. If just a few gallons of these substances are spilt into a river or stream, they can use up all the oxygen, killing fish for hundreds of meters or more. As firefighters, what you do at these incidents can make a difference and prove crucial in protecting the environment. You have a duty under the Fire and Rescue Services Act of 2004 to protect public safety. By taking action at an incident to protect the rivers, streams and water in the ground, you can stop our drinking water becoming contaminated and protect the public. When an oil tanker overturned on the M62, one of the first things the firefighters did was to block the drains with clay drain mats supplied by the Environment Agency. Their prompt action helped contain over 20,000 litres of fuel and stop this road traffic collision becoming a major pollution incident. Fire and rescue services across the UK have been working in partnership with the Environment Agency now for a number of years. In this time, the partnership has grown, and the Fire and Rescue Service now play a vital role in protecting our environment. We provide pollution prevention equipment to help you do this. Because you get to incidents so promptly, much quicker than we can, you can help change the outcome of an incident for the better. When you keep the environment in mind and take action to protect it, using the pollution equipment we supply, everyone benefits. You can make the difference between a pollution incident that wipes out kilometers of a river and shuts off people's drinking water supplies and the public being unaware that there was a problem. Our partnership has real environmental benefits. The pollution incident data we collect shows a significant reduction in the severity of pollution at incidents you attend. Grab packs like this provide emergency first aid for spills of polluting substances. There is one on every frontline appliance across England and Wales. Fire and rescue services in Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Isle of Man have similar equipment provided from different sources. The Environment Agency also provides specialist pollution prevention equipment for major pollution incidents. You've got access to pumps, large holding tanks, booms, inflatable drain blocking gear and sorbents. It's important that the equipment we supply is right for the job and compatible with the fire and rescue service next to you, so a standard range of equipment is available across England and Wales. The aim of this DVD is to provide a practical introduction to the GrabPack equipment. It shows how the GrabPack contents can be used to carry out crucial environmental first aid containment work at the scene of an incident. It also gives an overview of some of the specialist equipment that you can call upon to complement the work of the GrabPack. Before we show you how to use the equipment, it's important to understand how environmental pollution happens. Many different incidents could cause pollution. For example, road traffic collisions, vandalism, and runoff from fires. Sometimes pollutants enter a watercourse directly. More commonly, a spillage on a highway or at a factory or firewater runoff will get into a watercourse or underground water through a drainage system. There are usually two types of drain that you will come across: surface water drains and foul water drains. Surface water drains tend to be the open gratings found at the roadside, in open yards, or taking roof water from guttering. The foul drainage system or foul sewer carries dirty water from domestic premises and wastewaters from industry for treatment at a sewage treatment works. On some sites, drain covers and grates will be painted blue on the surface water system and red for foul drainage, so you can identify them quickly. In inner cities, there may be a combined surface and foul system that flows into a sewage treatment works. We recommend drain covers and drain grates on combined drainage systems are painted with a red letter C to help you identify them. Drainage systems can be vulnerable during an incident. You should try to stop spilled product or contaminated firewater and foam from flowing into any drains to protect against pollution. We recognize that firefighter safety is paramount. At no time should you use the equipment we supply in a way that contravenes any of your fire and rescue service safe practices or procedures. Often incidents that pose serious risk to the environment also carry hazards for firefighters. It's essential that a dynamic risk assessment is carried out and that you wear or use appropriate personal protective equipment. For this training DVD, we have used coloured water to represent the pollutant. For ease of demonstration and the comfort of the firefighters involved, only basic fire kit has been worn. We work with firefighters to develop and refine the grab pack to make sure it works well. We aim to find pollution prevention equipment that is as environmentally friendly as possible. Where we find items from natural or renewable sources, we will provide these so our partnership is as sustainable as possible. Every grab pack has a laminated instruction sheet that gives a brief description of the contents and simple guidance on how to use everything. It can't replace the information in this DVD, but it's a quick reminder if you haven't used the grab pack for a while. The clay drain mat can stop liquid flowing into a drain. To use it, remove the mat from its outer packaging by tearing the bag using the pre-cut notches. The mat itself is sandwiched between 2 layers of cling film. Remove the bottom layer of film by gently pulling the tab in the corner. Place the exposed side of the mat down over the drain you want to seal. Make sure the entire drain opening is covered. Now press just the edges of the mat gently yet firmly to seal it against the concrete or tarmac surrounding the drain. The top layer of cling film stops the clay sticking to your boot. The clay mat will mould to fit irregular surrounds to form a perfect seal. Occasionally you might need to seal a drain that's larger than standard or unusual in shape. You can overlap several mats or cut them to size to make them fit. Peel the bottom layer of cling film off the mat and place it over the first mat with a small overlap. Gently press the join of the 2 mats to seal them together. Then press around the edges to seal the mats to the ground as before. We know that all firefighters are inventive and make the most of an opportunity. You could use the clay mat to seal other leaks, such as a missing brick in a bund wall or a leak in a large container. There is a 10-meter length of polyboom with 2 cable ties in each grab pack that can be used as a containment boom on land. Before you can use polyboom, you need to seal one end. The easiest way is to gather in the boom at the end you want to seal and scrunch it together tightly. Then fold the scrunched end back over on itself and secure the resulting bundle tightly using one of the cable ties. An overhand knot will also do the job. Put the boom onto the ground where you need to use it before you fill it with water. Once you've filled the boom, you can't move it as dragging it across the ground will tear the polythene. Make sure you don't lay the polyboom over the top of any hose reels or other objects, as this will stop it working properly. Once it's in the right position, fill the 2 large outer tubes with water, leaving the middle tube empty. The boom doesn't have to be completely full to be effective. The 3-tube design stops the boom rolling away if you use it on a slope. Seal the other end when it's full. You can use 2 or more booms together if you need more containment. Overlap them so the liquid flows past the join and doesn't collect in puddles. The boom can also be used as an effective door blocker or as a deflector to channel liquid towards a prepared containment area. There may be a longer length of polyboom up to 100 meters on one reel on the environment protection units. The boom can be cut to the length you need using a seatbelt cutter or used in its entirety to create a large containment area. The longer length of polyboom needs a different technique. Fill the boom as it's laid out in its final position. This stops the boom blowing around in the wind and allows it to be laid out in a controlled way. Polyboom is designed to be used only once and then replaced. The clay-based paste can seal leaks in drums, pipework and bulk storage tanks. There are 2 different style tubs of paste. The first is a lump of paste in a sealed screw-top container. To use this, scoop out a substantial handful from the tub wearing suitable gloves. Put the paste firmly down and away from yourself into the hole. Once in position, don't adjust the paste, as this may restart the leak. The second style has a small plastic applicator in a screw-top tub. To use it, tear open the end of the plastic sleeve furthest away from the applicator tub. Hold the base of the tub and pull the plastic sleeve back to cover your arm and hand. This plastic sleeve doesn't count as protective equipment, and you should still wear or use appropriate personal protective equipment. Push the open mouth of the tub with the paste in it firmly onto the leak, crushing the tub. Leave the tub and sleeve in place. As before, don't adjust the paste, as this may restart the leak. Repairs with paste are only temporary, although they should last several hours. You should make sure someone arranges to have any remaining product removed. If you're using the paste to seal a hole in a container that you will then be putting into an overpack drum, you may need to remove the plastic tub carefully from an applicator pack so that the paste isn't knocked as it's put into the overpack drum. A tub of paste may not be enough for a leak on a large container. You could put a clay drain mat over the leak and seal the edges. Each grab pack contains 25 oil sorbent pads. The pads soak up small oil spills but won't take in water or other water-based chemicals. They work equally well on hard standings and water. The pads should be put onto an oil spill in a single layer. Replace them when they are soaked in oil until you've removed as much oil as possible. For larger spills, you should try to contain the spill instead of soaking it up. Make sure someone arranges for a different means of product recovery. This might be hoovering or tankering by a specialist contractor. Once soaked in oil, pads and other waste should be put in a clear plastic waste bag from the grab pack. Seal the bag with a cable tie and stick some of the warning tape and a hazard diamond onto the bag. We can give guidance at a local level on the safe and legal disposal of this waste, but hopefully local arrangements are already in place. In Lancashire, firefighters used around £25 worth of our pollution prevention kit from the grab packs to hold back 1,000 litres of oil. 2 10-metre lengths of polyboom and some oil sorbent pads held the spill on the road until a recovery company could arrive. This stopped the oil reaching a local canal and causing a major pollution incident. As well as the grab pack equipment, the Environment Agency provide every fire and rescue service across England and Wales with more specialist pollution prevention equipment. These are kept in what we call an Environment Protection Unit. You can call the unit out if you need more equipment than is in the grab packs. Similar equipment is available in Scotland, Northern Ireland and other parts of the UK. Overpack drums are designed to make leaking or damaged containers safe by providing a liquid and gas-tight environment. 3 different sizes of overpack drums are available. These stack inside one another but can occasionally stick. Try putting an oil sorbent pad in the base of each drum before putting the smaller drum inside to see if this helps. If you can, put a drum liner into the drum before using it to reduce contamination so the drum can be cleaned and reused more easily. To put a large or heavy container into a drum, you should take the lid off and place it upturned on level ground. Carefully maneuver the damaged container onto the lid. Place the main body of the overpack drum carefully over the damaged container so you don't knock off any leak sealing paste you've put on, and screw down onto the lid until hand tight. To form a liquid and gas-tight seal, you need to use a brace to turn the overpack drum further until the arrows on the lid and drum align. This can require considerable effort. Pop-up pools are collapsible, portable, temporary storage vessels. They are available in 2 sizes, 100 and 250 litres. Both come with storage bags to protect them in transit. You don't need to put them together, just unroll and put in place in a matter of moments. Their low sides make them ideal to put under a vehicle or leaking tank. The FlexiTank is a much larger temporary storage container. We currently provide 6,000 litre tanks, but we may provide a different size in the future. Like the pop-up pools, you don't have to put these together. Just unroll where you want to use them on a flat surface, and if possible secure in place with the anchor points. Use a salvage sheet under the tank to protect its base. Put a liner into the tank to minimize contamination. Spread it out in the opening and fill the pool into the liner through the opening at the top. The sides of the pool will rise as it is filled with liquid and it supports itself. Most of the sorbent materials we supply are color-coded, which means you can tell at a glance what sorbent does what job. There are some sorbents made of natural materials that aren't color-coded, so you need to be aware of which sorbent does what job. Color-coded oil sorbent materials such as pads and booms are blue and only take up hydrocarbons. Chemical sorbent materials take up oil, water, and many other substances and are color-coded yellow. Sorbents are made in other colors, and you may attend incidents where these are present. You should be careful if you use materials that aren't from fire service vehicles and that aren't clearly labeled, so you don't try to use them for the wrong purpose. Under sodium lighting, oil and chemical sorbents can look similar. If you're in any doubt about which is which, they behave very differently in water. Oil sorbents are extremely buoyant and will float on the water's surface without taking in any water at all. Chemical sorbents will float initially, but will rapidly soak up water, becoming waterlogged and sink. For your safety, please note that chemicals and oils soaked up by a sorbent material still retain their original chemical properties. When you've contained a spill, you may need to transfer the spillage into a temporary containment area until a specialist contractor can collect it. This can be to protect public safety, for operational priorities, or to prevent further risk to the environment. The water-driven peristaltic pumps can do this, and because they are water-driven, they are safer in flammable situations. The pump has different attachments for recovering product, like disc and vacuum strainers. These attachments can be very effective at transferring a spillage into a temporary holding container, such as a pop-up pool, an overdrum, a flexi tank, or if necessary, an improvised storage area. In some situations where the material involved is organic, such as sewage, milk or beer, it may be possible to pump the spillage to the foul sewer for treatment at the local sewage treatment works. You must get permission from the local sewage treatment provider before pumping at an agreed controlled rate in order to protect the treatment works. Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service used equipment from their Environment Protection Unit to prevent a Category 1 oil pollution incident, which is the most serious category of pollution. They used the peristaltic pump to relieve the pressure on an oil bund that was close to failing by pumping the oil out into a flexi tank. They also made sure no more spilt oil could reach the local river by putting clay drain mats over the drainage openings. We don't expect you to get involved in long cleanup operations, but sometimes you may need to extend emergency pollution containment work to the watercourse itself. This might involve damming, or more usually, booming. Booming is only effective where the pollutant is less dense than water and floats on the surface. For example, oils. Both fence booms and sorbent booms are available on the Environment Protection Units. Which boom you choose will depend on the quantity of pollutant involved. You may be able to contain a small oil spill with an oil sorbent boom alone. You'll need a fence boom for larger spills or to collect product from faster flowing water. The fence booms on the Environment Protection Unit come in 3-meter long sections that can easily be joined together. When you've joined enough sections together, tether the ends of the boom to the banks of the watercourse. You need to stagger the different ends of the boom so the product you are collecting will go nearer one bank and not collect in the middle of the water flow. Fence booms are designed to be used only a few times. When they are no longer usable, please check if they have a ballast chain. If so, make sure the chain is removed and cleaned because it can be returned to the supplier for reuse. Contact the Environment Agency for help with this. Small oil spills on a slow-moving watercourse can easily be soaked up using an oil sorbent boom. The blue boom will only take in hydrocarbons and will not take up water or other aqueous liquids. If it's been in storage for a while, you should give it a shake to make sure its contents are evenly spread along its length. You may need to join several lengths of sorbent boom together to have a longer reach. Overlap the ends and tie them together securely using the material ties on the ends of each boom. Make sure the ties are not so tight as to distort the shape of the boom. When you put in any kind of boom, it is essential that both ends of it fit tightly against the river bank. There are a number of ways to do this, but the technique shown is easy and will provide a good seal every time. If you are expecting a significant amount of product, always put the fence boom upstream of any sorbent booms. This avoids using too much sorbent material and reduces how much waste you create. Chemical sorbent booms will take up water, chemicals and oils. They are not suitable for use on a watercourse as they'll sink. They can only be used on land, either on their own or with lengths of polyboom. For your safety, please note that chemicals taken up into the sorbent material still retain their original chemical characteristics and properties. Inflatable drain blockers come in a kit with extension poles, a pump and inflatable bladders. They can fit pipes with a diameter around 100 mm and above. To put the drain blocker in place, fit the bladder onto the pole at an angle so you can fit it into the drain. Secure the free end of the rope to something so the bladder can't be lost into the drain. Add extra lengths of the pole so you can safely position the bladder into the drain. Push the pump into the connection and inflate the bladder fully. For safety, the regulator in the pump won't allow you to overinflate the bladder. Disconnect the pump and pull out the pole set, leaving the bladder, inflation hose and securing rope in place. When you need to remove the bladder, deflate it and pull it out using the attached rope. If the circumstances demand, or you need to take action before the Environment Protection Unit arrives, you should improvise. Soil or sand can be used to soak up spills and can provide physical containment barriers when used on land. A charge length of hose can be used as a simple land boom. A rubber floor mat from a vehicle can help protect drainage systems if you lay it flat over a drain grating. You could place a spare tyre around a drain opening and fill in the gaps with soil or sand. Check the site's incident response plans and use any penstocks, valves or separators shown to stop spilled product spreading. It's important that when you've used any of the equipment we've provided, that you let us know. This gives us the opportunity to recharge the polluter for the equipment costs. It also gives us regular feedback as to how well equipment is performing. Examples of where our partnership has been successful are always welcome to help promote your good work. In summary, an effective first aid response to any environmental incident could involve one or more of the following actions. Containing or stemming the flow at source. This is the best option. Containing close to the source in a pool or on the surface, for example by using polyboom. Preventing pollution from entering drains. Containing product in the drainage system itself. Finally, where possible, containing on or in the watercourse. The Environment Agency is on hand to give expert advice. This could be immediately over the phone, or where appropriate, an officer will attend the site. We'll do our best to reach you as soon as we can, but unlike you, we aren't a blue light service. Remember, you can always speak to someone on the phone to get advice before we arrive on the scene. Further details on our partnership and how you can help protect the environment are contained in the Fire and Rescue Service Manual on Environmental Protection. Through our close working relationship, together we can protect public safety by protecting public drinking water supplies and the environment. By providing pollution prevention equipment, the Environment Agency and the Fire and Rescue Service are working in partnership towards a safer and cleaner environment.